extra time.
I feel that there's been a lot of talk about India's fielding in the recent past. So, like, how do you see it? Like, what is your rating of how it's been, and what can India do to get better? I guess.
I think post the World Cup, we had a good series in West Indies, and then the West Indies series at home was somewhere where we really dropped. We were average, to say the least. So yeah, from then on, we're trying to get better, but definitely we will not live up to the standards as we did in the World Cup or even as a build up to the World Cup in the last couple of years. So that is something which we should definitely work on. I mean, yeah.
No, but sorry again. Like, as a follow-up, but sitting outside, how do you rate it? Do you grade it on missed fields or just overthrows or drop catch? Is there a rating system in your head?
Yeah, we do have a productivity rating based on a lot of things. So ground fielding, but if you go to see certain matches, ground fielding has been good. I mean, overthrows. I mean, if you're talking about that throw with Manish took a chance, and that he had to do it. Come on, we needed a wicket at that time. You can bargain 4 runs for that wicket, and it was the best player who was at that end. So these things happen. We can't look too deep into that. But the thing is, yeah, definitely New Zealand is a difficult high catching country. Having said that, it's not an excuse. That catch should have been taken, and probably it was after his first over. Maybe he was thinking about his previous over. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could not be a technical aspect at all, or it could be. You never know. I was speaking to Kuldeep today, so we had a chat about it. So we're trying to get better. We were average. There's no doubt about that, and we can get better.
How difficult is it, given that you hardly have practice sessions? There are matches travel when you're playing. You don't have like a full-fledged session, and therefore maybe you're not able to have a full-fledged practice session. So how much of a drawback or a setback is that?
I mean, that's the nature of the current schedule, so we got to take it. We got to play around it. But like you said, we hardly had a session during the entire T20 schedule, so there's not much we can put in terms of technical work on the ground. But we do have time before the game starts, and that's where we do some groundwork, even if there's no practice session. Apart from that, we do have a look at the videos and see what led to an error. It need not always be a technical error. Every time there is a fumble, or every time there's a drop catch. So we need to know, like, it could be a tactical positioning error, or it could be something, the mind not being in the right place. There's so many things which can lead to an error. So we try and address that based on the feedback we take from the players. Our job is to try and give them all the information and give them the options. It's up to the player to get the best option he can to make him perform the best. So it is a tight schedule, but it's not a complaint and it's not an excuse at all. We need to be better.
Sridhar sir, what do you tell the boys? Obviously, there's no dearth of intensity as far as fielding is concerned. But what do you tell your boys means as far as fielding is concerned?
We do have certain parameters, certain fielding KPIs in the T20 game, or in a ODI game, or in a test match for that matter. So we keep reminding the players about attention to the basic detail, about doing the 1%ers right. And we tell the fielders to actually, in a game which is so quick, like in a T20 game, each fielder has to be his own captain. He need not wait for the captain to, move him, or the bowler to move him in a certain direction or to a certain position. We try and think ahead of the game. You as a fielder, captain yourself, see which way the breeze is, which way the batsman's tendencies to hit are, what's the bowler's plan. So position yourself accordingly. So we empower the fielders so that they can become their own captain and they can take decisions on their own, because the captain has got too much on his plate at certain times. So that is what we speak about, and we have a lot of 1%ers and a lot of KPIs which we try and tick off every game. Yeah.
Chetan.
Yeah, Chetan.
So you've been fielding coach for a while now, and every time I'm not saying that there's a down curve, but also there's an up curve. Do you change the training techniques? How often do you change training techniques? Is it possible to change training techniques just because there's a down curve? How does that work?
It's a good question. We need to identify now. Like we had a down. Now we're having a down curve. Like since the West Indies series at home, but we need to identify the right things. It may not be too much technical at all. Sometimes it might just be a fatigue thing. It could be a lack of fitness thing. I mean, if you see Virat run out Nichols the other day, it was purely speed which gave him that edge over the batters. I mean, absolute pleasure to watch. The kind of intensity he brings onto the field is I always say to the younger boys who come in, it's a ready-made template for you to just copy. I mean, just watch him, see what he does. How it's not just about wanting to go there and do well for a player. It's about preparing himself off the field mentally and physically to go there and to be able to do what you really want to do. So it just doesn't, the buck doesn't stop inside the ground. There's a lot of things which have to be done outside the ground for a player to be playing at the intensity of Virat Kohli. So coming back to your question again, yeah, there are a lot of things we need to address, which we'll actually have a dialogue with the player and see what is more important for a player and then go about it in that way.
Will the players give you feedback that, okay, maybe this needs to change or that certain aspect needs to change? Does that happen as well?
Of course it happens. Of course. We do the listening more than the talking. So we take the feedback from the players, and if there's anything to be added, we surely can add our perspective, and then the best possible decision is taken to get the best out of the player each time they go on the park.
वनडे सीरीज बड़ा छोटी सीरीज है,
हाँ जी,
1-0 से डाउन है,
हाँ जी,
कल वाला मैच हारेंगे तो सीरीज ही खत्म हो जाएगी। कितना इंडियन टीम को फर्क पड़ता है या आदत हो गई है? पिछले 2-3 सीरीज में भी 1-0 से डाउन रहता है तो जीत ही जाते हैं।
मतलब कॉम्प्लेसेंसी आनी नहीं चाहिए, लेकिन ऐसे जो सिचुएशन आते हैं हम उसको एम्ब्रेस करते हैं। हम सोचते हैं कि ऐसी सिचुएशन हमको चाहिए। ये टीम का जो माहौल है, ये टीम का ये जो लीडरशिप ग्रुप है, दे ऑलवेज वांट टू बी इन अ टफ सिचुएशन। सो ऐसे सिचुएशन आएंगे तो उसको हम एम्ब्रेस करते हैं और उसको इट विल ट्राई एंड ब्रिंग द बेस्ट आउट ऑफ यू. सो इट्स ऑलवेज गुड टू बी अंडर प्रेशर, इवन इफ इट्स अ बायलैटरल सीरीज, इवन इफ इट्स एन ईयर ऑफ T20 और इज अ ईयर ऑफ टेस्ट चैम्पियनशिप. स्टिल एवरी गेम जब आप 1-0-1 से डाउन होते हो, एक छोटा सा प्रेशर रहता है, बट वो प्रेशर अच्छी बात है. इट ब्रिंग्स द बेस्ट आउट ऑफ आवर प्लेयर्स. सो होपफुली we'll try and play our best cricket tomorrow.
Do you put any of the fielding issues down to fatigue at all? You guys have played Sri Lanka in Australia, then come here, and it's gone pretty much game, day off, game, day off. Like,
Yeah.
Is the team fatigued at all? Are they?
We do. It's a good question. We do monitor their workloads. So I mean, we will be lying to ourselves if we say that no, they are fresh as a daisy every time they go into the park. They are not, because they're traveling and playing games. But the current fitness levels of this team is really good. So I think that in turn helps to recover from the workload or recover from fatigue quickly and be fit on the park. So, but we do keep that in mind. But I don't blame fatigue for any of the down curve. Yeah. Yeah, Kaushik.
Just briefly away from fielding, we spoke about bouncing back from defeats. Sri Lanka, West Indies in Chennai and Bombay against Australia, and of course in the last game, so partnership building, and there was both no incisiveness in terms of getting wickets, and also the control was seemingly not there. Is that like a worry at all? With Hetmeyer and Hope, then with Finch and Warner, and then again with Latham?
Yeah, I mean, Hetmeyer, Hope and Nicholas Puran, they were just hitting balls out of the park, ... 6666 ... That's where they were playing, and I mean, we were relieved to get that series over and done with. But I think the last game, I think it is in the fourth phase, that between the 31st and the 40th over, where we I thought drifted away from our plans a little bit, and that is where the game was lost, in my opinion. It's my personal opinion. So we want to sit down now and have a chat and speak to the bowlers at what we need to do and how to come back with the right kind of responses to the main batters. Is that what you're asking for?
So no, I was just wondering, is it like a concern that it's happening too often? It's happened like thrice in the last 1 month?
Not a major concern as of now. We're not really worried about it. But it's always an opportunity to learn. So whenever you get a game like this, there's always something to pick up and something to learn for the longer run. So we look at it that way more than anything else. But
Just about Kuldeep, he hasn't bowled much in the nets. Like, he's bowled a lot before the last ODI. Looked a little off. Like, is he carrying an injury? Is he fine? And like, what kind of mindset is he in? Like, he's had a tough maybe 8 or 9 months, I guess, with the ball.
He's fully fit. He's not carrying any injury. He's totally clear to play all the games. That is one. Two, I think he has played a lot of ODI cricket, didn't he? I think he played the 3 games against Australia, if I'm not mistaken. Kuldeep did play all the 3 games. So this is the next ODI he's playing after that. He didn't play the T20 because Chahal was there. So maybe Kuldeep is the kind of a guy who needs a lot of overs under his belt to get his rhythm. Typical leg spinner thing. It's a leg spinner thing, I would suppose. So a lot of overs under the belt. So on and off, he's playing the odd one-day game. So, but I think he's a good bowler. He's got his skills. I thought that New Zealand batters played him really well. They had their plans and hit him in the right area. So didn't allow him to kind of bowl where he wants to, I think.
Well,
final.
Sorry, India's plan in the last ODI was to use the spinners quite often. Were you maybe surprised at how New Zealand used their spinners, or maybe how they didn't use them as much as maybe you would have expected?
Yeah, I mean, they had Jimmy Nisham and Colin bowling a lot of overs, and the spinners didn't bowl out their 20 overs. I think Sodhi just bowled 4 overs, so that was more suited to the conditions there. I thought initially there was a bit of dampness in the wicket where Jimmy could come and bowl 5 overs, and so did Colin. Later on, it eased out to be a very, very, very good wicket, as it generally happens in Hamilton and most parts of New Zealand. So, but then that's where it was that situation of the game demanded probably New Zealand to go in with more of medium pace than spin. But then we use our spinners as a frontline attacking bowlers, so we had them bowling at situations we always believe that they will get us the wickets, even if they're going for a boundary or 2 extra. So we will use them accordingly as per that.
Final question.
Last game they used a short boundary to create effect, especially against the spinners. How have you been able to work? Because again, this is a very short ground, oddly shaped ground. Have you been able to work again? Travel, optional practice. How does that?
Yep, I mean, we have played a couple of T20 games here, so most of the bowlers, they're aware of the dimensions of this ground. When you come first up, it's always a challenge to play at the Eden Park, but I think now the bowlers have a basic idea of the kind of lengths. Obviously, the lengths will vary when the straights are so small. You got to vary your lengths. You got to force the batsman to hit into the bigger areas of the park. So that is what the basic plan will be, and bowl according to each batsman's weaknesses.
Hit the subscribe option and the bell icon to get all the exclusive sports videos on Extra Time.